Well, hello there all you absolutely magnificent people, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays, where we talk about nature while playing games. My name is Will, and as you can see we are back in Monster Hunter World, and today we are heading off to the Wildspire Wastes. And well, I just randomly stumbled upon this yesterday, this little random lookout point in Astera, and I thought, you know what, this is a good spot to actually start, because I mean, look at that, there's a very stark contrast there. We've got the ancient forest on the left, and then we've got very suddenly the dry wasteland, the Wildspire Wastes, and something is happening right there. Now I suspect it's something to do with the ridge line that runs along there, where moist air from the ocean is blowing in and it's resulting in rain, resulting in the ancient forest getting enough water, and then right on the other side it's for some reason very, very dry, most likely because, well, the air is no longer humid and the Wildspire Waste is there as kind of a desert environment. And that is where we are heading now. Now, it is nighttime now, and usually I do expeditions and stuff like that during the daytime, or I prefer doing it during the daytime. But the desert is actually a spot where it's good to do it at night. Not necessarily in terms of what you see, but because technically it's a very, very harsh environment, and you don't want to be running around in the desert during the daytime. When it's hot and you dry out, nighttime is just so much better. Yes, it can be very cold in the desert at night, but overall it's a little bit better than dying of heat stroke. Right, so let's actually head on out, shall we? It seems at the moment the Piscine researcher is there, so let's see if we can find that Piscine researcher and what on earth they have for us. I do see an exclamation mark on the map right up here, so let's quickly run there first. Ooh, look at that. We also have some doodles. Very nice. Okay, so we've got some Grimalkyne signs. And also some footprints, and oh my word, is that Rathian? I think. Yeah, that is a big one. And there they go. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so danger. There are some big gashes in the ground here. Very similar to Rathalos. Rathian would also be marking their territory. Very territorial. Big creatures, you would expect them, predators of course as well, you would expect them to really be marking their territory, and they are doing that with gashes. Oh, here it comes again. Oh dear, okay, not a great spot to be. So there's Rathian. You know what, this is what we're gonna do. Let's have a look at Rathian. Oh, that's a big drake. Notice the random spike in front there. I'm not sure what that is, but it could be for territorial fights, for territorial... But there we go, scratching. Interesting, seems to have either smelled something on the foot there, or actually taken something out of the claw, out of the foot. So it could be that there is a scent gland, very similar to how cats would have scent glands that they use to mark their territories with when they're scratching against stuff. But I suspect that spike in front is there to actually fight other Rathian with as well. Now we actually wanted to just be here, because I do believe the Piscine researcher is somewhere along here. Hello there, Piscine researcher. The Piscine, of course, referring to fish. Howdy there, partner. He wants me to catch a sushi fish. Now, this is quite easy. I have been doing a bit of fishing as well overall, so let's see whether we have anything here. I don't know if there are any fish in this pond even. No, I really don't see any fish here. In fact, I don't see any fish whatsoever in this area. Actually, I would expect a deeper pool here where this big waterfall falls down here, because, well, the force of water is something to be reckoned with. And generally, what I have found close to these big types of waterfalls, there's usually a deeper pool. Not necessarily very deep, but a deeper pool than we have over here. And I would have expected some fish in that pool. However, no fish that I could find. Oh, there's a bait bug here. I've never used bait bug. And another one here. Let's have a look here at the bait bug, shall we? Interesting, it does seem to have a bit of bioluminescence. Either that, or is our scout flies reflecting off it, but it doesn't seem to be the case. I mean, that does seem to really be producing greenish bioluminescence there. Very similar to what we see in some click beetles, which also produce this type of bioluminescence, usually for individuals to actually spot other individuals. But I guess that is why we are using this as a bait, because, well, the light there will most likely attract fish to the bait, or to the bait bug here. That's cool. And when you look at that, it is becoming daytime, which means that technically now we will be running around in the heat of the day. Now, as far as I know, that Rathian that we saw is the female version of the... Oh, and there are Grimalkynes around here. Of Rathalos. And I'm pretty sure soon we are going to be fighting a Rathalos. Don't know how I feel about that. Really don't know how I feel about that. Now we are still looking for some Grimalkyne markings. Because, well, I would like to actually meet the Grimalkynes of the Wildspire Waste. Wow, there are quite a few Emperor grasshoppers hopping around here. I caught 2 now, but yo, there are so many of them here. Most likely there is an excess of food, and now suddenly they are becoming bigger. They also do have their wings, so this looks like it could actually be a locust type of species. Now, the difference between a locust and a grasshopper is literally just, do they form swarms or not? And locusts do form these swarms of plague proportions, whereas normal grasshoppers don't. That's basically the difference there. They're all in the Orthoptera order, so they're all very similar. But it is just that, well, the locusts would actually... Oh, hello, Kelby. Are you being aggressive here? Ooh, Rathian. Rathian is actually here. Wow, I did not know Rathian could come down here. It looks like Rathian is actually after the Apsaros, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it did just take down... an Apsaros there. The Rathian really... Or is taking down an Apsaros there. The Rathian really a big predator. It looks like... she was using venom there. Okay, I think we should get ready. Let's just do this. Use our Ghillie Mantle. And off she goes again. Wow. She is impressive. Now let's have a look. I think Rathian is actually venomous. And there we go. Oh, two taken down. Weird that she took down 2 of these Apsaros, but did not actually... eat either one of these, maybe keeping them for later. So some predators will kill something and they not eat it immediately, but actually store it for later, like leopards for example. They will catch something like an impala and then store it up in a tree so they can eat it later. There we go, there's a bit more of a doodle. Ooh, Apsaros, for a moment I thought Rathian is approaching. Oh, thankfully not. Okay, and some more Grimalkyne signs. So again, the Grimalkynes here kind of marking their territory by drawing stuff on the ground, drawing things on the rock walls, indicating that, listen, we are here, this is our territory. Unless you want to fight us, don't come too close. Now this area right over here, really teeming with life, because, well, it is a stream flowing through a desert area. Hello, Geratodus is here. Hello. And I think Geratodus may be going for the Apsaros there. Ambushing them. Yes, there we go. And the Apsaros, going to be taken down by the Geratodus immediately. Taken down. Geratodus does have, it seems, very, very strong jaws, which of course they will be using to bite into their prey. Oh, and there's Kuliyaku up there as well. So of course, water like this in a desert environment will bring all the animals in close proximity to each other. And as a result, ambush predators like Geratodus there actually have a good time finding prey to ambush and then, of course, eat. Now, I have been hunting Geratodus quite a bit off screen, so I have unfortunately killed quite a few of them. And the fact that we've got water here also means that species that wouldn't be able to survive here otherwise actually have an opportunity to survive. Like this little parrottoad over here. But usually they do have a bit of either a difficult time surviving in the desert, or they're only found in areas that actually has water. A lot of them will also undergo kind of a state of suspended animation. Some of them do estivate, which is like hibernation, but in summer or hotter conditions. Okay, we are under attack by the Kestodon. Listen, you guys are asking for it. So let's just teach you not to mess with us. You still want to go on? Okay. I don't know who started this, but I'm finishing this. Well, I do know who started it. You guys started it. I was just thinking this would be a great spot for some doodles, because there's a bit of an overhang here, a nice solid rock wall to actually paint on. So yeah, there we go, some Grimalkyne doodles. Interesting, this cactus patch as well. Now obviously there would be some things eating the cactus here, and well, I think I know what it is, and I don't think they're currently in the map. No, I don't think they're currently in the map, which is kind of good. But yeah, there is a very, very aggressive, and we are soon going to hunt them as well. I think that comes after Rathalos. We're going to hunt them as well. There is a very, very aggressive herbivore that eats these things here, these cactus here. Now, interesting, these do appear to be prickly pears, so very similar to our Opuntia on Earth. And you can see there are some nice cactus flowers over there. And then, do I see any fruit? I thought there were fruit on the right-hand side, but no, those are just flowers that haven't opened yet. So, of course, if pollinated, those flowers will become fruit. And the weird thing with prickly pears like these ones here, these petal-shaped things that look like leaves, they are actually the stems of the prickly pear. We call these things that look like leaves, we call them cladodes. And the actual leaves of the cactus here would be the spines we see on the cladode there. And so the leaves don't actually photosynthesize. The leaves are there for defense, I mean the spines are there for defense. And the cladodes, the stems that look and function like leaves, well, they are actually responsible for photosynthesis. And there goes the Rathian. Okay. Ooh, just saw this big shadow overhead. Of course, some cacti go for a round shape like this barrel cactus over here. And some species of barrel cactus are the only cactus you can even consider drinking the liquid of. Do not drink cactus liquid. It will make you vomit. It doesn't want to be drunk by you. It will make you vomit and you will be even more dehydrated if you do eat it. But some of these barrel cacti are drinkable. Do not take my word for it. It's only some species that you can do it. But this barrel cactus here, we see some amazing adaptations with it. First of all, it is round in shape. The more spherical you are, the larger your volume relative to your surface area. Remember, if your surface area, we as humans, we sweat from our surface area, plants will transpire from their surface area. They lose water. If you can have a larger volume and a smaller surface area, then you can store a lot of water like this barrel cactus can do, and you are going to have less of you exposed to the sun, from on your surface area, and you're going to transpire less. Additionally, these barrel cacti are also doing what we call self-shading. They have fluted stems. In other words, the stems here have these flutes, these grooves running down them. And what this does, and you can actually see this quite nicely here, if we just look a little bit more from this side, you can see even with the surface area here, not the entire surface area is actually exposed to the sun. Only the outsides of these ridges are exposed to the sun. The inside, the grooves, are actually in the shade. And if you are in shade, you are transpiring less than if you are in the sun. So this allows the barrel cactus to get quite big without exposing a massive surface area to the sun. So it doesn't lose a lot of water, but it is able to store a lot of water. And that is just absolutely brilliant. Alright, here's another Grimalkyne sign here. And of course we are again being threatened by the Kestodon over here. Remember, they're threatening us. They're trying to look more intimidating, to chase us off. But what we can also see here is a small little ant mound made by the carrier ant. This is a small spire. Of course, as they get larger, they become a little bit more intimidating, like these spires over here. Those are also some bigger ant nests. And then, of course, they can get massive in size. This is a very, very old ant nest, a very big wildspire. And some more doodles. And, ooh, look at that. There's a little hole in the ground here. And some more doodles. And we're just going to, jump down a random hole. Hello there. A whole bunch of little geckos up on the wall there. Nice. Now, it seems as though one of two things happened. Let's just actually, capture some of the geckos for science. We caught 3 wildspire geckos there. That's cool. So, one of two things happened. Either this is the lair of a bigger creature that's bringing in its kills to this area. You can see quite a few skulls here, and rib bones, and vertebrae, a whole collection, a whole bunch of skeletons over here. So either something like, for example, cave lions, cave hyenas, I think there are some records of them actually dragging their prey into caves like this to eat it in peace, or things fell down the hole there and died, and are slowly but surely decomposing. I think that may actually be a more likely explanation. Now, sure, something most likely came and scavenged and dragged this bone pile over here, but I suspect the majority of these dead creatures here died because they fell down the hole. A large doodle. Nice. Now, this would be a great spot for the Grimalkyne to actually set up their base because it's sheltered. Occasionally, food falls from the sky, quite literally. And I don't think a lot of things actually come into this cave here. Oh, hello there. There's a nice little section over here. Oh, hello. In fact, there is a Grimalkyne here, right here. Hello, Grimalkyne. And of course, Memphis wants to know what happened here. It seems the protector here was out with other protectors. And then a Baroth charged them. Oh, the others panicked and they got separated. Oh, no. And we need to help bring the 3 friends back here. But they won't trust us if they see us coming. Oh. Use the capture net to capture them before they run. Just be gentle. Okay, okay. Once I find all three, let's bring them here. Right. I guess we've got to go and try and catch some Grimalkyne. Okay, so we are currently here by this protector over here. There's one over there, there's one over there, and there's one over there that we need to go and save. So let's go and get them, shall we? How difficult can it be to put a cat in a bag? Okay, so I see Rathian will leave the locale soon, which is kind of good. We have to worry less about, you know, danger from above. Danger, danger. But I wonder what will take its place. Maybe it will be a Diablos, which I'm not very keen for either. Okay, so we are getting close to this protector. Apparently the Gilly Mantle won't help, but I'm not sure. Apparently they're over here. No, they're not. I think they may be down. There they are. Oh my word. How on earth are we going to do this? I don't think I can just, you know... Oh, I can. Well, okay, that's one way to do things. Next up, that one. Of course, here we are in a cavern system. And look, of course, we've got a big spiderweb right in front of us here. Now, spiderwebs like this would very often be spun across paths where insects are most likely going to fly. And this is, like there's rock all around here, so this is a perfect spot to actually make a nice spider web, because any insects flying through here will get trapped in this. And you can see there are actually quite a few insects already trapped in this spider web here. Even looks like an emperor grasshopper over there as well. Okay, but we are unfortunately going to just cruise straight on through. Okay, so apparently we are right by our quarry. There he is, right over there. Okay, a little bit more difficult. Unless, of course, we try taking it from above, like we did the previous one. But no, we can't. Unfortunately. There it is, right behind that. Those stalagmites. And there we go. Second one. Oh, look, there's even a Grimalkyne doodle over here as well. Let's study their art, shall we? As we had previously, very often these types of markings, especially if carved into rock or into trees, very, very angular, straight lines, mostly consisting at least of straight lines, because it's easier to carve straight lines into rock or wood. And it looks as though Rathian has left. I think Kuliaku most likely will be next. There's a nice little amphibian hopping around here. There we go. A climbing joy perch. Amphibian that has retained many of its ancient characteristics. Songs can be heard during rainfall. Okay, so they are capable of making sounds. It's like trying to track. Oh, there we go. Geratodus also has left the locale. So it seems as though this indicates when they are going to leave their locale. How long they still have left. Okay, good to know. And I think Kuliaku will leave soon. Now, this last Grimalkyne should be somewhere close. I think it's just on the other side here. Yeah, right over there. So there we go. Very similar in appearance again to the lynx. And shortish tail, but not very, very short. But those ear tufts, yeah. Nobody really knows exactly what the function of those ear tufts are. In Africa, the caracal has it. If you go to North America, the bobcat has it. The lynx has it. All kinds of cats or felines have that. Maybe for the young ones to actually follow the mother. Maybe it's like a come here sign. Some people also theorize that the spots, the whiter spots on the back of some cat's ears, those are also come here signs for the young to follow her, to follow the mother. But then again, the males also have that, and in many of these cases, males are not involved in the rearing of the kittens. Maybe it helps in communication with other Grimalkyne. That could very well also be. Okay, now we are just going to try and get away. Get close to it. And then when it walks away, we are going to climb up and hopefully be able to trap it. I guess we will have to see. And there we go. Just got him in time. Now, of course, this muddy delta-like area over here is a perfect environment for Geratodus to occur. I mean, this is where I usually come to hunt Geratodus. We currently have a Baroth in the area somewhere, not sure where. Will also most likely be in this muddy area over here. Oh, there's a Cactor. May as well go and try and find that. I have caught a cactuar before, and I have in the one video also whacked one. Yes, I did. Oh, and there are some old footprints of the Baroth. So yeah, the Baroth has been walking along here. Okay, it looks like the cactuar is not currently here. Okay, but this is exactly where I did catch it previously. Oh, I see it is. It seems to be loading. Okay, so it's gonna take a while before that one is green, and it's going to take even longer before this cactuar is green. That's the one I struck in battle the one time. This is the one that I caught. That's the Baroth. I see the Baroth. Of course it is coming along here. Yeah, it is aggressive. It is aggressive, I think. I think it is. Oh, wow, shaking mud all over the place. Shaking your mud all over the place. So as was mentioned in the comments of the last time we fought the Baroth, the things that we see on top of its head would actually be its nostrils. Its nostrils are located on the top, and that is a characteristic we see in a whole bunch of creatures. Oh, look at that, rubbing up against the rocks there. We'll talk about that in a moment. But the nostrils on the top of the head is something we see in a lot of aquatic creatures, hippos, crocodiles, all those types of things, like whales and dolphins obviously as well. They've got the nostrils on the top of their head, and it allows them to be able to breathe while being submerged in the water. And the rubbing up against the rocks here most likely serves two purposes. Most likely it is actually a form of scent marking, so they're walking around and they are rubbing their scent in the mud all over the place. But it could also be that they've taken a nice mud bath and now they just want to rub up against something to scratch an itch or to remove parasites, something along those lines as well. Could be multi-purpose. And there's a little dung beetle. Look at that. So there's a big pile of poop over there, and of course the dung beetle over here has formed a nice... Come on, Memphis, you're in the way. Of course, the little dung beetle here has formed a nice dung ball, and this little one is now rolling it down to the nest where either he or she will deposit it. Currently, it may be a male rolling it around, and he may have a female waiting for him. And the female, of course, will then lay her egg in it, and the larva will then develop inside the dung ball and will then eat it. You can see the big hind legs there, really shaped to... and the front legs as well. The front legs made to scoop the ball together, hind legs and front legs to help push the ball. But the middle legs, not scoop form at all. The middle legs are actually just little normal insect legs. We have little eye spots on the back side there as well. That is a cool adaptation. Those eye spots there is a form of mimicry. It is designed to look like something bigger's head. If you are a predator approaching from the back, it looks as though it is actually looking at you. That's the function of those eye spots there. Really, really brilliant. Okay, cool. We're just going to leave you be. We could catch you, but you know, you are very, very busy. You are taking your dung ball somewhere to go reproduce, and we need more dung beetles in this world. Now, most dung beetles can actually fly. We do have some flightless dung beetle species as well, including here in South Africa, but most species can fly. But of course, they can't fly with the dung ball. They fly to the dung heap, and then of course they just make the dung ball and roll it there where they want to go. Oh, here comes the Baroth. There comes the Baroth again. Maybe he is feeding on some of the insects in the area. They are insectivores, but most of the things they eat, most of the insects they eat are actually in the swamplands where they occur. And down we go again. Now it looks as though, and I forgot to check, but I think we are actually at the base of one of the wildspires, at the base of one of those massive carrier ant nests. And it looks as though this was excavated by something or someone, which makes sense. The soil around the wildspires themselves would generally be very hard, but the ants here, the carrier ants, over the years have excavated this area, and it is generally softer and easier to actually excavate the carrier ant nests than it is to actually excavate the hard rock around here, or the hard soil around here. You very often find things laying their eggs, for example, in the old termite or ants nests. Oh, nice! We can actually. Okay, cool. We can make a campsite here. Great stuff. Yeah, as I was saying, it's a lot of species actually lay their eggs, like monitor lizards, for example, will lay their eggs very often in old termite nests or old ants nests because it's easier to dig it out. Also, a whole bunch of snakes that actually live in South Africa, at least, that spend some of their time, at least part of their time, in ant and termite nests. But yeah, here we go. Thank you, my friends are safe because of you. Yes, indeed. Ever need help? No, the protectors will be happy to return the favor. And they're also giving us something. A symbol of friendship, a shield unyielding as the bond we share, heart of the protectors. Nice. So we received a second gadget, the shield spire. Well, that is marvelous. Okay, we don't have Diablos in the area yet. We've got Baroth almost leaving, it seems. Then Kuliaku and Geratodus. I didn't even realize Geratodus was back. But this, I believe, is the area where you can fight Diablos. I have spent some time usually hiding down here because Diablos does not come down here. I have spent some time hiding in this area. And you know, mining, doing my thing. Lots of sand slipping past here, like a little sand fall. As for where the sand is flowing to, I don't know. Maybe there is a massive cavern underneath here. Maybe an area that the carrier ants excavated, collapsed. Or maybe there's a sinkhole, almost a sinkhole. Or maybe there's a sinkhole below here and sand is just flowing into that. Now we have basically spent an entire day cycle running through the Wildspire Wastes. It is nighttime now. Oh look, we've got actually one of these little protectors running around with us. But yeah, now again, the cool of night descends once more upon the Wildspire Wastes. There is one more plant I do want to have a look at, hoping we can actually see it. We have got some mud marks over here, a scratching spot here, a mud track. Now the plant I'm looking for usually grows in more sandy environments, so it should be right up here somewhere. There we go, there is one right over here. And I may have talked about this previously. These are bitter melons, or tsamas, and it is one of the relatives of cucumbers. And it is also related to watermelons, but you can see here it doesn't have the red inside of watermelons. And previously, watermelons actually looked like this. The red watermelons we eat nowadays took a long time to actually cultivate to get to look like that. You can see there are quite a few seeds in there, the darker spots in there. Those are all seeds, hard skin on the outside, and a lot of whitish flesh. But these bitter melons, extremely important source of food for a whole bunch of animals. Now, most animals would eat them. I'm not sure whether the Baroth eats it, and as far as I know, not even the Diablos will eat them. Diablos will get all their nourishment, including their water, from the cacti that they eat. Now, I did mention earlier that we as humans should not eat cactus because, well, it's going to make you vomit. But the Diablos most likely has a stomach adapted to survive that and actually not suffer from that. Now, one other interesting plant, only notice it now, can't believe I never noticed it until now, is this over here. This plant that is currently in flower. This is agave. And it is where we get tequila from, and also where we get agave nectar from, which is a sugar substitute. And the agave nectar, of course, will be collected from these flowers here. And this plant over here is about to die. It is what we call a monocarpic plant. It flowers or fruits once, and then it dies. So it gives this spectacular flowering display, but then this part of the plant will die. Now, some agave plants will actually then produce little suckers on the side, and they will then continue growing, but this stem is dead. Others, the whole plant will die. It will only have this one stem, and then they flower and set seed and die. But we, in South Africa, we don't have them naturally occurring here. They're not indigenous to South Africa. They come from South and Central America. But they have been planted in South Africa, and, well, they have invaded a lot of areas in South Africa. But one thing that we do use them for would be nest boxes for woodpeckers and barbets and other birds, because at the base here, we can't really see it here, but at the base, this thin stalk actually broadens and it forms this big tuberish part of the stem, and that you can hollow out a bit, you can drill a hole in there, and a lot of birds will actually use that as a nesting site or excavate it further. Woodpeckers and barbets in particular will do that. But even this stalk over here, once it is dry, you cut it into sections, you drill a hole in the center there, and woodpeckers and barbets and some other birds will also hollow that out and make their nest in there. So even though it isn't exotic and we don't like it, at least we can use it for something when we chop it down. Ooh, before we end though, look at what we've got over there. We've got a cactor again. Now the cactor there, a very, very interesting plant. I believe this is, if I remember correctly from the comments, it is from the Final Fantasy series. So it is not an indigenous species to the new world here, or to the Monster Hunter universe. But that is quite cool. Now the cactuar there, able to move. Oh, that's big. Oh, that's a Baroth. Okay, that's a Baroth. Okay. I was like, I hear something big moving in the area. But the cactuar that we do see there, it is a plant. It's able to photosynthesize, but you can see it is moving. And most likely it is moving through some kind of electrical impulses that is causing it to spin. Now, of course, if we trigger it, it will result in a whole bunch of spines. I think the lore-wise it says 1,000 spines, although it most likely isn't actually 1,000 spines being released from it. Now, I don't know of any plant that actually shoots out its spines like this cactuar will do if it feels threatened, but I do know of a lot of plants that have easily detachable spines. So spines that if you touch it, it will very easily break off in your skin, and then it will cause massive irritation, a lot of pain. Really not a great thing to experience. And the cactuar here is just taking it to the extreme. Most likely again through electrical impulses, similar to how a Venus flytrap will close its trap. Electrical impulses are sent due to it being stimulated. Certain tissues would then most likely contract, and that then results in those spines actually shooting out. Yeah, it does not seem to be able to run, at least not at the moment. Maybe if we actually do press F, it will run. Hello there, little guy. Yeah, it just seems to spin around in place. Alright, now we are just going to catch you because we never know when you're going to be useful, so we may as well catch you. Now before we end though, I just noticed again, right over there, notice all those birds flying around. Oh, those are revultures. I thought those are like storks and stuff. But no, those are revultures. A whole bunch of them, a massive amount of them, heading towards the delta area. Is that the delta area on our map? It's not, it's kind of on the border of our delta that we actually do have access to, that usually has a Geratodus in it. But they are most likely flying to either roost or to go feed. That delta there would attract a lot of birds to it. That is for sure. It's an area where there will be lots of fish as well. I mean, we know we've got the Gajua over there as well. And there will be lots of invertebrates. It's the lifeblood of this desert. That river that we've got flowing into the delta and the delta itself. Of course, the water that flows into the delta eventually leaves and goes down, flows through this massive canyon somewhere else. Not sure where it flows to. But yeah, this I believe is a good spot to end today's episode though. The next time we are running around here, we will be talking about all these little bird-like creatures, these vulture-like creatures flying around as well. But next time when we're actually back in Monster Hunter World, we are going to apparently be fighting a Legiana. And I don't think I'm looking forward to that. That is going to be an uphill battle, I think. But of course, on Sunday, I will be live streaming as well. And I will be live streaming PAX Augusta, as I did this previous Sunday as well. Oh. Was I stunned by the Vespoid, or was I stunned by the Thunderbug? Did you stun me, you Vespoid, you naughty one? Alright, but I'll be back trying to build an eco-friendly Roman village on Sunday in PAX Augusta. And then, of course, on Tuesday, another episode of Empires of the Undergrowth. And then next Friday, I will, of course, be back in Monster Hunter World. And if you've got any comments or questions, please pop them down in the comments below. Happy to answer and always love reading those as well. And until next time, everybody, stay safe. I will see you all soon. Cheers!